And joining me now is Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. He is the Secretary General and co-founder of Palestinian National Initiative. Mr. Barghouti, really appreciate your time and thank you for speaking to NDTV. Could you give us a sense of what is happening right now on ground zero in Palestine, particularly Gaza?
What's happening is very dangerous. I will talk about Gaza, but before I talk about Gaza, let me tell you that also settler violence, Israeli settlers are terrorizing Palestinians in many villages in the West Bank. So far, 25 Palestinians have been killed, many by the Israeli illegal settlers. So they are practicing terror, trying to use the fact that everybody is busy with what's happening in Gaza. In Gaza itself, we witness a total and complete humanitarian crisis for three reasons. The first reason is that Israel is imposing a complete blockade, preventing supply of electricity, water, food, and medicines to the people there. We received fanatic calls now and very angry talks, worried phones, about from hospitals that children in incubators could die at any moment because of lack of electricity. All operations, regular operations, have been stopped because of the terrible amount of injured people. We are talking about patients in need for kidney dialysis who cannot get it and they could die at any moment. And most important, more than 300,000 people are clustered in UNRWA schools with no services whatsoever. And you're talking about 60, 80 people in each room, which is no more than 16 square meters. It's a terrible situation. But the lack of food, lack of water, lack of electricity is also combined with airstrikes that are destroying thousands and thousands and thousands of houses. People are bombarded without any warning. Israel is back to using prohibited weapon like white phosphorus, which causes terrible burns. So far, no less than 1,350 Palestinian civilians have been killed by Israeli airstrikes, including no less than 400 innocent children who have been slaughtered in the last 4 days by Israeli airstrikes.
Dr. Mustafa,
add to that,
talking specifically about food, water, and what appears to be a total siege now, total lockdown of Gaza. Are there areas in which food is being provided? What do we know about it? Because yesterday the last working power plant stopped working in Gaza. So what now? How are you moving food to those who are stuck there?
We cannot. It's impossible because Israel blocked all the passages from West Bank to Gaza. And Israel is preventing Egyptians from providing supplies through Rafah checkpoints. Yesterday, Israeli planes bombarded the part of the passage, Rafah passage between Egypt and Gaza, and they've threatened that they will bombard any convoy that tries to bring water or medication or food to the people in Gaza. It's a very dangerous situation, and it is combined with another very very serious matter, which is Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu declaring that all Palestinians in Gaza must evict their homes. He didn't say where to go, but his military spokesperson said. He said that all Palestinians in Gaza should evict their homes and go to Egypt. We are talking here about an effort to repeat the ethnic cleansing that happened in 1948 against Palestinians, by ethnically cleansing 2.2 million people who live in Gaza, 70% of whom have already been ethnically cleansed from their towns and villages in 1948, to push them towards Egypt so that Israel can completely occupy Gaza again and annex it to Israel. That's the map that Netanyahu held in the United Nations, which shows you that what's happening here is not like just an incident and a response to Hamas attack. It is clear that there are plans that are being implemented. It is clear that there is a conspiracy.
What happened on Saturday, the Hamas terror strike is being condemned by one and all. I'm sure you will also condemn what happened on Saturday and the subsequent retaliation an escalation of this violence. My question to you is, as we look at those visuals and Israel is now preparing for an on-ground onslaught, is there a sense now that that it's only a matter of time? And what are the residents of Gaza doing in the sense that electricity, food, water, is there some area or some places where it has been stocked up?
First of all, I do not accept any attack on any civilian. That is very well known, whether Palestinian or Israeli. But a lot of what is circulating in the media is a lot of lies from the Israeli side, including claims that there was rape. Los Angeles Times, the American newspaper, came up with an apology for saying that reporting rape, and then they had to apologize and retract their story because they couldn't prove anything. Same thing applies to beheading children and so on. Netanyahu is trying to claim that Hamas is another Daesh, and he is trying to claim that this is another Holocaust for Jewish people. The reality is that the real Holocaust is what's happening now to the people of Gaza, regardless of my unacceptance of any injury or death of any Israeli civilian. But the reality today that Palestinians are the ones who are slaughtered. And the situation did not start last Saturday. The situation, and that's what Israeli media is trying to deviate attention from. And unfortunately, much of the American media is doing the same. This problem is a problem of military Israeli occupation of Palestinian people since 56 years in the West Bank and Gaza. 75 years of ethnic cleansing, which was practiced by Israel, forcing 70% of the Palestinian people out of their hometowns. This is about Netanyahu personally being responsible for killing any opportunity for peace or a peaceful resolution based on two-state solution. Netanyahu is ready to kill even Israelis or allow the killing of Israelis so that he would not leave his office.
Okay.
One line. This man aggravated the Israeli public against peace agreement with Palestinians. He aggravated the Israeli public against Yitzhak Rabin, the Prime Minister of Israel, who signed peace agreement with Palestinians and who was assassinated by an Israeli extremist because of Netanyahu aggravation. This man, Netanyahu, has blocked any possibility for peace. That is the problem.
My last question to you, Dr. Mustafa, since you said that there are panic calls that you're receiving from Gaza, particularly from hospitals, could you give us more details about that?
You know,
are there electricity in hospitals?
We run a medical operation in Gaza. We have our volunteers there. They are so frightened for several reasons. First of all, they are unable to provide the necessary treatment to the patients they have to take care of because of lack of medicines, lack of water, and lack of electricity. These are the three factors that are preventing proper supply of medical service. Second, it's a problem of transporting patients and reaching patients because of the continuous Israeli bombardment where nobody can feel safe. Third, our health workers are being killed. Up till this moment, 10 of our first aid providers have been shot to death, many inside ambulances that were bombarded by Israeli airplanes. And in addition to that, as United Nations have reported, 7 UN workers, also United Nations workers, have also been killed. So what we see here is bombardment that is totally indiscriminate. And what we see here is the possibility of an explosion of epidemics. Because if you can't have clean water, if you don't have water supply, if you don't have energy and electricity, then of course you cannot control the possibility of infections and the possibility of epidemics. So this puts the people in Gaza at a very, very, very risky situation. Also, we are very concerned with pregnant women who have to give birth. We do expect there will be a sharp rise in maternal mortality and in neonatal mortality if this situation continues. Simply because women cannot give birth in proper healthy conditions and with the proper medical access. Simply also because newborns cannot be cared for given the absence of necessary facilities and the absence of medical supplies.
Okay.
That's why we are demanding immediate ceasefire, at least humanitarian ceasefire immediately,
Okay.
and immediate opening of supplies to Gaza.
Okay, so an important point being made there by Dr. Mustafa that there should be a humanitarian ceasefire so that the movement, particularly of essentials and critical supplies, can be ensured. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for speaking to NDTV. News and updates will continue on the other side.